I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 88, Donald Duck Quack Attack. Released in 2000, this game was developed by Ubisoft and published by Disney Interactive. You might also know this game as Donald Duck Goin' Quackers. Or maybe you know it from the other ports of this game for the Game Boy Color, PlayStation, PC, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance, or GameCube. God, is this like the most ported game ever? There's so many. Anyway, so we got another Disney game here after Tarzan and Toy Story 2. You know, you'd think Disney video games would be kinda trash, but typically they're pretty solid quality. I'd never heard of this one before, but it seemed like a lot of people had. Probably played it on one of those other ports. But yeah, with the track record of the previous Disney games, I was kind of excited for this one. Let's get into it. The game offers a high resolution mode as well as increased sharpness if you have the expansion pack. I always tend to turn these kinds of things on for playthroughs like this. So the game just has a single player story mode. I'll be completing that to beat this game. It opens with a cutscene showing Daisy doing a news report saying she's in the kingdom of this evil magician named Murloc. She's trying to figure out what his next plan is. Then it shows Donald along with his pals Gladstone and Gyro watching from some lab. Murloc kidnaps Daisy, then Gladstone runs into Gyro's teleporter to save her. And Donald gets on a skateboard and falls. Gyro informs us that his teleporter doesn't have enough power to travel to Murloc's lair yet. And then we have control of Donald in the lab. There's 4 teleporters to take, but only the first one is open to start. Going in gets Donald yanked into a new world. This is the level select area. It has a strange resemblance to a certain Bandicoot-based video game. One of Donald's nephews, I'll just go with Huey. He's there and he explains a few things. Within a level we have to collect a piece of a boss warp pad to proceed. Optionally, you can find and collect all of Huey's toys in each level. And then you can complete a time trial on each level. Only the boss warp is required to beat the game, but I ended up doing everything in this game. Going into the first level, we immediately run into Gyro giving us tutorials on his new device, the Compacto Screenomatic. For the gameplay, it's a 3D platformer, but the levels are generally linear and they're pretty limited. It reminds me a lot of a certain Bandicoot-based... Alright, this game is just a total rip-off of Crash Bandicoot. Not that they picked a bad game to rip off, it's just... yeah, it is. The main things you do in the game are run and jump, as you might guess. Donald can do a double jump, and the physics of jumping are pretty good. Throughout each stage, there's a bunch of stars to collect. These are kind of like Wampa Fruit in Crash, but in this, you have yellow worth 1, blue worth 5, and red worth 10 each. If you get 100, you gain an extra life. Sometimes you'll run into Gyro's friend, Checker. He gives you a checkpoint. Yeah, I know, real original. Donald can also kill enemies he encounters by jumping on them, or hitting him with his famous Duck-Wando kick. As if the comparisons to Crash Bandicoot were over, sometimes Donald will find a milkshake during a level. This gives him temporary invincibility and makes him run faster. Back to Huey's toys, sometimes Donald encounters an evil spellbook from Murloc. Touching it causes a time challenge where the toy will appear until the timer runs out. It just gives a nice bit of extra content to do in each level if you're feeling crazy. The boss pad in a level looks kind of like a big slice of cheese. Donald shakes his butt when he grabs it for whatever reason. Pretty weird, man. But yeah, that's it for the mechanics of the game for the most part. The first level is incredibly easy. I would have even crushed it back when I was like 5 and held controllers upside down. I'm not joking, I really did that. I was a weird kid. So level 1 was moving towards and away from the screen. Level 2 moves to the left and right of it. That's the 2 variants of level you'll do in this game. I took damage for the first time in this level. Donald throws a huge temper tantrum whenever he does. Then his walking animation will change with him looking like he's tired or something like that. That lasts like 15 seconds or so and then he's healed. If you take damage during that phase, you die. You can also die from falling, which I did in this level. Whoops. There's so many extra lives you obtain that dying doesn't really matter much at all. Oh yeah, so Donald also murders lumberjacks in this level for some reason. Dude, Daisy isn't worth killing another human, come on man. All 4 levels in this first world are pretty similar. The aesthetic is just the green forest environment, and the enemies and obstacles are pretty similar. It's just a different layout for each. so I beat level 3 and 4 with no problem, collecting all of Huey's toys as well as the boss pad in each. With all 4 pieces, the boss warp in the center opens up. This first boss is this big yellow bird thing. It's kinda gross looking, honestly. It takes place in a circular arena. It flies in the air and drops eggs down. Donald immediately murders all of its children, and then the bird tries to squish us with its butt. Finally, it's vulnerable, and I can hurt it by jumping on its head. After repeating this 3 times, the bird was dead. Literally, it died. It specifically makes a point to show a cutscene with the bird turning into a ghost and being carried away. For saving all of Huey's toys, he thanks us and runs off. This reveals the entrance to a new level, Bear's Path. Going in, it shows Donald being chased by a large bear and he's running toward the screen to get away from it. Yeah, I know, another Crash Bandicoot comparison. I don't know if the bear's affected by Murloc's spell or something, but it just runs over the bear traps like they're nothing. What's the point of a bear trap if it can't trap a bear? There's no toys or boss keys to grab here, it's just run to the end. I crossed a bridge and the bridge conveniently fell, taking the bear with it. Gladstone's waiting at the end and he's like, "Oh, you finally caught up, huh, loser?" And then he issues a challenge to beat his clear times in all the levels of this world. These are completely optional time trials, just like the toys. The game's not that tough, so I just went ahead and did them. It's the exact same level, except the boxes gyro placed now give you an increase in time rather than more stars. The times are very lenient, so you don't really need to rush. I think Gladstone's all talk. Once I knocked all those out, Gladstone was waiting at the level select saying he's surprised we did it, but now we get a reward. He holds out a box, but then the two just start fighting each other. The reward's a new costume to play in. This one has Donald wearing a typical tourist outfit like he's in Hawaii. So I thought the music in this game, it's about average. It's not bad at all, it's just kinda generic, I guess. It doesn't really feel like Donald Duck to me. The graphics, on the other hand, are absolutely fantastic. For an N64 game, these are some of the best I've seen. All the textures are really smooth, and this looks like it could be a GameCube game. Anyway, World 2 unlocks after that. There's 4 worlds in total, and they all have the same format as the first one. The levels in World 2 take place in a city environment. The first one has some electrified pool of water in the middle of an alley. Like, what kind of place is this? I guess Donald fits right in though, as now he's murdering innocent construction workers. These guys are just trying to improve the quality of life around here. Like, what are you doing? Level 2 takes place on top of all those high-rise buildings we were just walking past. I did like that the levels look different from each other in this, unlike World 1. It transitions to buildings under construction towards the end. Well, the levels sorta look different. Level 3's up on the roofs once again, although it's smaller buildings Donald can safely fall from. Not really, he still dies. And level 4, it's on the roofs again. Well, at least it looks like different roofs. The boss in World 2 is one of those infamous Beagle Boys. He's controlling a wrecking ball trying to crush us. I guess the machine he's using is old and run down though because it keeps stalling. He gets out to repair it and we can punch him in the butt. He gets mad and throws dynamite, but one of them can be hit back, damaging him in the process. I liked how the wrecking ball starts to destroy the building as the fight progresses. It's pretty cool, boss changing the environment like that. But yeah, it's pretty easy. For getting all the toys, another chase level is unlocked. This time there's a truck trying to run Donald over rather than a bear. Not sure which one would be worse. I did all of Gladstone's time trials and got a third costume. Now Donald's wearing a fancy suit with a top hat, and he's even holding a mini cane. World 3 has like a horror theme. You know, like you're walking through a haunted house or something. There's a bunch of Frankenstein duck things to kill. One thing that was really interesting was the level has a corner in it where the camera turns 90 degrees. I don't recall any of the other levels having something like that, so I wonder if this one in particular had like some special coding or something. You know, like a dev pet project just to see if he could do it. There's like these skull hand platforms with spikes along the walls. It's a weird place. Oh yeah, and there was this old lady in a rocking chair aggressively swinging a sword. I don't know what the heck her problem was. Probably because we tried to kill those construction workers. Maybe that's why. But yeah, these levels are just filled with creepiness and traps and the like. The boss of World 3 is Magica, which is quite fitting. She's that evil witch lady from DuckTales, you remember? So she sends out an exploding pumpkin which I had to knock off the cliff. Then sends electric pulses at you. After dodging that, platforms appear, creating a bridge to give access to where she's floating. All but one will have spikes come up trying to kill you. When dodging the spikes, she sends out skull bombs that fling back and break the fence she's hiding behind. And then finally that causes her to take damage. After doing this 3 times, she's dead. I like this boss really well, it was a lot of fun to do. For rescuing the toys, Donald gets chased by a floating hand. This has gotta be worse than the truck or the bear, right? And after that I beat Gladstone's challenges once again and got the 4th costume. And now Donald looks like he's ready for bed. So the only thing left is World 4. This one has Donald going through an ancient temple or something like that. Although there's laser beams here, so maybe it's not as ancient as it looks. Plus the place has all kinds of pits filled with lava. Actually, I think we're inside a volcano. The platforming generally gets harder as the game goes on, but I had over 40 lives by this point, so it didn't really matter. The enemies in this world are big lizard things holding spears. I don't really know how that fits the temple theme, maybe they're like guardians. Then there's these duck heads on a wooden body. It's like a pirate with 2 peg legs and 2 peg arms. This world looked really cool though, I thought. I think it reminded me of the Indiana Jones game on the N64, you know, the lava level. I'm having Stockholm Syndrome. The levels are filled with moving platforms and traps, and lots of lava. But before I knew it, I was done with level 4 and on to the boss of this world. As you may expect, the boss of this area is Murloc himself. He transforms into this flying dragon that shoots fire. The fight has Murloc chasing you towards the screen with a lengthy bridge. There are levers to hit along the way that charge an electricity meter in the corner. When it gets fully charged up, he's trapped between 2 electrical probes and he's stunned. Then Donald hops on a turret that shoots laser beams. Honestly, this boss is wild. I think it's a real fitting final boss for the game. After 3 hits from the laser turret, Murloc is transformed back into his human form and he's all like, "I hate Donald Duck." He disappears at the last second just before Donald gets to him. Donald has more problems though, as Daisy is suspended above the lava by chains. Gyro has us pull some lever to stop Murloc's machine once and for all. And then Donald gets Daisy down from the chains. They narrowly escape back to Gyro's lab at the last second. And he gets a kiss from Daisy, and then the credits play. After beating Murloc, there was one final chase level, along with the time trials for World 4 left to go. As you might guess, the chase level has Donald running away from a boulder, just like Indiana Jones and Crash Bandicoot. And then I knocked out all the time trials and Gladstone rewarded me with one final costume, an explorer outfit. Actually, looks even more like Indiana Jones. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it, my journey to beating Donald Duck Quack Attack. I thought this one was pretty fun to play. I definitely have a bias towards favoring platformers, but I think this is a good one. Sure, they copied so many things from Crash Bandicoot, but you know what? They did it well. The platforming physics are solid, there's not really any jankiness to it. The level themes in each world don't differ too much, but I like the different environments of each one. The boss fights were pretty solid too, and all 4 felt unique. The music was decent and the graphics were top notch. I gave this a 7.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 2 out of 10 for difficulty. It's worth checking out in my opinion. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a sneak peek at the next game. So we've got 302 on the list. Could be anything. Let's find out what the next game is. 3, 2, 1, go. 259. What is that? Oh. Okay, we're playing Super Robot Wars, which I think this one might have an English translation. I hope it does. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.